Hello, this is Fanfiction Spot coming with another part of What If Naruto Had a Gaming System or Solo Leveling. Please like and subscribe, and without any delay let's get started. Chapter 8, Reforged Blades and Cage Bunshin. The next day, early morning. Naruto's new apartment. Recipe mastered. You have successfully mastered the recipe plain cooked rice? You gain 50 EXP to the cooking skill. Well, that was easy, Naruto remarked absently. He had only been trying to cook rice for the last couple of days, so he was surprised to have gotten it mastered this quickly. Then again, it is very difficult to mess up putting rice and water inside a rice cooker and leaving it to cook, so maybe it wasn't all that surprising. Mentally consulting his knowledge of his cooking skills recipes, Naruto decided that the next thing to try was toast. He truthfully didn't have a preference either way for breaded products, but it was the next recipe that was level 1 on the list he had. In the cooking skill description, there was a drop-down menu that allowed him to pull up recipes that he knew and view them, as well as how well he could cook them and their relative difficulty levels. The more complicated recipes even required him to have mastered certain recipes beforehand in order to cook them. Setting the bowl of rice on the table, Naruto sat down, picked up his chopsticks and chomped away at it as he made plans for what to do after the academy was let out today. He would have to see when Sakura-chan wanted to have her lessons in taijutsu, as well as water all of his plants. There was also the issue of the chakra metal ingot he had received from the mysterious forest lord that was watching his progress in training area 13. Naruto had no idea about prices for such a thing, but he would have to guess that it would be quite expensive indeed. This meant that questions would be asked when people found out about the fact he had it. He didn't know how widespread the knowledge of chakra mutations was, but he knew the civilians would accuse him of stealing it from someone. The best thing to do would be to take the ingot to his Jiji and tell him where he had gotten it, or a version of where he had gotten it at least. He would simply claim to have found it in the burrow of the giant mole he had defeated. The fact that it had been sealed inside of a letter was a detail he didn't want to bother the Hokage with. The old man had enough on his plate to deal with without having to wonder and worry about his surrogate grandson's mysterious power that seemed to alter the world around him like a permanent genjutsu. Naruto would tell him at some point, just not now. Yosh, off to the academy, the blonde orphan declared as he finished his meal. He stood up and charged out of his home towards the academy. As always, the glares of the villagers keep making my detect bloodthirst skill more powerful, Naruto thought with a mental chuckle as he jogged towards the academy. Seriously, just walking around Konoha for a couple of days outside the academy building made his detect bloodlust skill level up. Naruto seriously didn't know what the civilians' problem was regarding him. It was driving him nuts just thinking about it. Some time back, he had asked Jiji if his parents had done something to make the villagers hate him. It had been the only thing he could think of that could possibly explain the amount of animosity that was directed towards him. Sarutobi had looked pained for a moment before schooling his facial expression and denying it, explaining that Naruto's parents had been honorable shinobi who would have died before betraying Konohagakure. Deciding that what would come in its own time, Naruto put his ruminating to one side and sped on. After the academy is let out for the day. Hokage's office. Hey Jiji, Naruto called as he strode into the office of the Hokage, a cheerful smile on his face. Naruto-kun, it has been a while. Sarutobi greeted him with a grandfatherly smile. How have things been with Sakura-chan? Naruto flushed. Okay, I beat her in a taijutsu spar yesterday, so she's going to start training harder. Combine that with eating properly, I think she'll be close to Genin standard by the time the exams come around. I think she'll have some help from her father as well, so I rather think you are right. The Hokage chuckled. Now, what can I do for you, Naruto-kun? Not that I'm not delighted to have an excuse to stop my paperwork, but it must be finished at some point. Yeah, I found something in training ground 13 the other day and I wanted to show you it, Naruto said with a nod. Oh, Sarutobi raised an eyebrow. Naruto drew a scroll out of his pocket and unrolled it to reveal the sealing array. Placing a finger on the array, Naruto pulsed some chakra into the seal and a large amount of chakra smoke exploded from it as the object inside was unsealed. When the smoke cleared to reveal the ingot of chakra metal, Sarutobi's eyes bulged out and his jaw flapped open in disbelief. Impossible? That much chakra metal? How? Where? Were the thoughts that were swirling around in his head as he gaped at the chakra metal ingot. Once he gathered the shattered remains of his composure and tore his eyes from the chakra metal ingot, he asked hoarsely, Naruto-kun, just where did you find this again? In the second sub-area of training ground 13. Naruto replied, hiding his amusement at the Sandaime looking so shocked. I killed a massive chakra mutated mole and found this in its burrow. I know it's metal but I have no idea what it is and I thought you would know. The Sandaime nodded slowly. It was a good thing that you did, Naruto-kun. Does anyone else know you have this? Nope. I sealed it as soon as I found it. Naruto replied, it would have been too heavy to carry otherwise. Naturally. The Hokage muttered, "Well Naruto-kun, you are in luck. What you have there is unmistakably one of the largest ingots of chakra metal I have ever seen. May I inspect it?" "Sure." Channeling chakra to his arms, Sarutobi picked up the lump of metal easily and examined it. On the reverse side of the ingot, in the top right-hand corner, was the purity of the metal, which had the old man's eyebrows shooting up in astonishment. "A purity of 999.90. He exclaimed, "Naruto-kun, this is worth a fortune." "Is it?" Naruto asked. "How much are we talking exactly?" "You could buy the Hyuga clan compound and still have enough left over to live without working for 3 years if you sold it, and that is if you get the lowest price for it." Naruto yelped in shock. The Hyuga clan compound was almost as large as the old Uchiha compound, which was massive. "Yes, it is a rather impressive price tag, isn't it?" The Hokage said with a chuckle. "I rather imagine, however, that you are far more interested in what can be made from it." "Yeah." Naruto agreed fervently, like, "Is this enough to make 2 Tanto and a Kodaki?" I believe so." Sarutobi said thoughtfully. "You would have to get a master weaponsmith to tell you for certain." "Would Higurashi-san count?" the blonde boy asked. "Tatsuhiko? Yes, certainly." The Sandame replied with a nod. "He is one of the best smiths in all of Hai no Kuni, regardless of his habit of getting drunk when outside of Konoha. He'll be able to tell you either way." "Thanks Jiji." Naruto replied as he resealed the ingot. "I'm going to see Tenten tomorrow, so I'll see her dad while I'm at it." "Oh? Giving up on Sakura-chan to chase after Tenten?" Sarutobi teased. "Wadash. No." Naruto yelled with a flush. "Tenten asked me to do something for her and I'm reporting back to her about it." "Jeez Jiji." The pout Naruto threw his way made the Hokage chuckle again. "Now, how have you been doing in training ground 13 other than finding rare and expensive metals?" "Okay." The first sub-area was full of mutated squirrels the size of small dogs and the second was full of mutated moles. Naruto replied, "Weird. I wonder what's in the third sub-area. Oh yeah. What do I do with any old weapons and the like that I find in the training ground? If they have their owner's name on or near them, bring them to me and I'll see that they are returned." Sarutobi replied, "Anything else is yours. Finders keepers. Consider it payment for clearing out the areas. It's the usual rule is for those who clear out training grounds full of chakra mutations." "Nice." Naruto grinned. "Well, I gotta go Jiji. Studying time with Sakura-chan. Have a good time, my boy." Sarutobi smiled as Naruto left, before a frown came upon his face. That large ingot of chakra metal was a daimyo's ransom. Naruto had been telling the truth about where he found it, but Sarutobi could tell he was being evasive about exactly how it was found, which was troubling. Ordinarily, Naruto would be boasting of every minor detail of his discovery of the ingot. On the bright side, this does mean that he is becoming a better shinobi, the Hokage thought with a sigh. "It looks like I'll have to resort to more sneaky methods of finding out what he does though." Ah well, now what was this petition? A proposal to assign guards for the civilian council, 3 shinobi per member, on a permanent basis. Do they think we just make shinobi appear out of thin air whenever we need them? Denied. The sound of a stamp firmly thumping on paper resounded through the room as Sarutobi Hiruzen did battle with his paperwork. After Sakura's tutoring session. Streets of Konoha. What to do now? Naruto mused. He had just finished a study session with Sakura, netting him a nice little bonus of int and WIS. He had also established taijutsu practice times twice a week. Apparently, Hokage Jiji had been right and her father was going to give her some pointers 3 times a week, which he encouraged heartily. The thing was, he didn't know what to do with himself now. He didn't want to challenge the third sub-area until he had a proper weapon and he didn't know if he could go back to the other areas he had already cleared. He didn't need to go shopping yet and he wasn't hungry, so he hadn't a clue what to do. Then it hit him. Training time. He declared and beat feet back to his apartment building. Once he got there, he pulled those interesting shinobi sandals out of his inventory and equipped them, reasoning that if they had an effect on training the tree climbing exercise, they were worth a try. "Damn, I hate breaking in new sandals." He groused. "I get them just how I like them and I have to replace the damn things. Well, better get started on that training." Having said that, Naruto didn't know of any trees that were out of sight. Walls would be a good replacement. Thanks to his gamer abilities, Naruto knew that the tree climbing exercise was meant for any surface, from stone walls, to trees, to the sides of a ship. Deciding to give the newly refurbished sparring dojo a try, Naruto headed there and started climbing the walls. He decided to try to level it up to level 5 today. The main thing about training a skill like this, Naruto comes to realize, is that it is mind-numbingly boring. Walking up and down a wall walking up a wall and falling down after a certain point got really dull after about 5 minutes, so Naruto created some IWA Bunshin to do the exercise with him so he'd at least have some company. Unfortunately, his clones were mouthy bastards and started following his Jiji's lead in teasing him about Sakura and Tenten. Naruto was really confused here. Were elemental clones supposed to be this mouthy? He'd have to ask Iruka-sensei at some point, cause this was starting to freak him out a bit. Finally, tree climbing exercise has leveled up. 4 to 5? Whew, that took way too damn long. Naruto huffed. Let's see now. Tree climbing, passive/active, LV5, 02.09. The tree climbing exercise is one of the first chakra control exercises a fresh genin learns after graduation from the academy. Fulfilling several roles, this training exercise is the forerunner of the more difficult water walking exercise, as well as laying the foundation for the tree jumping skill. Passively increases chakra control by 5%. Passively raises CP by 1%. Actively allows the user to stick to any solid surface that is not a chakra repellent. Costs 15 CP/minute. That's a bit better. The blonde boy huffed. Still, I need to do better. I need to get better faster. Better start with the damn calligraphy, damn it. I don't have ink or a brush. Kyuso? Shopping time. Running to the nearest shop that sold calligraphy brushes and ink, Naruto once again made use of the ever-useful Henge no Jutsu to become Iruka in order not to get overcharged. He bought enough brushes, paper, and ink for a small class, just to avoid people being suspicious, and was surprised when he actually got money off for buying in bulk. Who knew? Down 5,000 ryo, Naruto headed back to his apartment and started on his practice. The first attempts were atrocious. Seriously looking more like a child's attempt to draw a zebra than anything else. Undaunted, Naruto continued to practice. He had to get to level 10 in calligraphy in order to learn basic Fuinjutsu, which would be the first step to honoring his ancestors. Before being told about the Uzumaki clan's skill with Fuinjutsu, Naruto had been somewhat ambivalent about learning it. Now that he knew his ancestors had specialized in using the sealing arts, there was nothing on earth that would stop him from learning it. Finally, a connection with those who came before him. Once Naruto reached level 3, he gave up for the day because his hand was sore from grasping the dim brush. He was about to head over to the kitchen and start to make his dinner when a knock came at his door. Frowning, he went over and opened it, revealing, "Ino, what do you want?" Naruto asked in surprise. Well, that's a charming way to greet someone. The Yamanaka heiress huffed with her arms crossed. Well, aren't you going to invite me in? Or are we going to be conversing across the damn doorway? Naruto, knowing that Ino would be at least somewhat polite in someone else's house, opened the door fully to let her in. "Ojamashimasu," Ino said as she came in, "let's have a seat before we talk." "Oh, okay," Naruto said with a frown, leading her to the living room. "What are you up to, Naruto?" Ino asked bluntly after sitting on an armchair. "You'll have to be a bit more specific than that, Ino," Naruto replied dryly. "With Sakura, dope," Ino snapped. "What about Sakura-chan?" he asked, absently noting that Ino had dropped her derogatory nickname for Sakura. "Why are you doing all of what you've done?" Ino said, stumbling on her words for a moment. "Because she and you for that matter are not up to snuff," Naruto stated frankly. "You both barely train, which you should be doing, and you both diet, which shinobi do not need to do. I had the ability to help her out and I took it. I like her and do not want to see her dead on her first mission out of the village." Ino scoffed at this. "TCH. Yeah right. What would the dead last know? I have been in the academy for 2 years more than you, Ino," Naruto told her, his temper starting to fray. "The only and I mean the only reason why I haven't graduated before now is because I can't do the stupid Bunshin no Jutsu. If not for that, I'd have a Hitaiate already." Seeing Ino's stubborn expression made him sigh. That damn strong-minded perk of hers is raising its ugly head here. Then an idea struck him. "Look, in 2 months, have a spar with Sakura-chan. I'll be willing to bet she kicks your ass 6 ways to Sunday," Naruto said with a smirk. "Me? Lose to Forward Girl? TCH. Dream on." Ino scoffed again. "All right. I accept the bet. If I beat Forward, you pay for a shopping spree of mine." "Why does this seem familiar for some reason?" Naruto muttered under his breath. "Fine. And if Sakura-chan hands you your ass on a platter, you have to stop calling her that stupid nickname." "You aren't going to make me stop dieting or train?" Ino asked in surprise. "Nope, you'll do that all on your own once you get your ass kicked." Naruto grinned. "Dream on." Ino rolled her eyes. "I'm still going to keep an eye on you, Naruto. Just because Forward and I are rivals for Sasuke-kun's love doesn't mean I'm going to let you hurt her. It always comes back to the team, doesn't it?" Naruto grumbled. "Baka? Don't call my Sasuke-kun that," Ino shouted at him. "I'll call him whatever the hell I like." Naruto retorted. "Now if you don't mind, I have to make my dinner, so go." TCH. Ino scoffed. "Whatever." With that, she stormed out and slammed the door, making Naruto wince. He then turned his attention to the quest window that had popped up during the conversation. Quest created. Fields and Mountains, train Haruno Sakura to be able to defeat her frenemy and rival Yamanaka Ino in 2 months' time. Quest completion reward, plus 2000 EXP, plus 500 reputation with Haruno Sakura, plus 500 reputation with Yamanaka Ino, plus 5000 Ryo, Futon, Daytapa no Jutsu Scroll. Quest failure, plus 500 EXP, minus 250 reputation with Haruno Sakura, a heavy hit to your wallet. Accept. Y/N. Yet another quest that he couldn't ignore. The possible rewards made him want to salivate though. That much experience would likely make him level up, and the Ryo wasn't a bad enticement either. The best prize was the Jutsu Scroll though. For some reason, Wind Element Jutsu seemed to be rare in Konoha, which fitted in with what Iruka-sensei had told me about the number of people who could even use it, let alone those who actually did. Hitting Y, Naruto returned his attention to making his dinner. Cup ramen for the win? The next day, Taijutsu Arena, Academy Grounds. Naruto winced as Akimichi Koji sent a civilian-born student sailing out of the arena with a solid punch. He honestly never wanted to fight Koji because of that physical strength of his. He even used Observe on him and didn't like what he saw. Name, Akimichi Koji. Class, Clan Heir of the Akimichi. Level, 8 next level, 98.68%. Title, Academy Student, plus 25% EXP to LV10. Age, 12. HP, 650/650. CP, 650/650. STR, 22. STA, 22. Dex, 16. Int, 13. WIS, 20. Luck, 17. Special status, Akimichi Clan Heir, minus 25% chakra to use any Akimichi Clan Jutsu, Big Boned, plus 2 STR and STA per level, 30% more difficult to increase dex, Amateur Akimichi Battle Chef, plus 25 EXP to all field cooking actions, adds 15% to field cooking success ratio. Perks, Loyal Friend, Physical Resilience. Flaws, Touchy Subject, Fat, Timid. Akimichi Koji is slated to become the 16th head of the Akimichi clan. He is a kind, shy boy who is immensely loyal to those he calls friend. The mention of a certain three-letter word sends him into a blind rage, but is otherwise hard to antagonize. He is rarely seen without his best friend Nara Shikamaru. Naruto had always liked Koji. Granted, the boy ate like food was going out of fashion, but he was never mean to the blonde prankster. Seeing how damn strong Koji was made Naruto eager to keep their friendship. Winner, Akimichi Koji. Iruka, the referee, declared, Kazuya-kun, go to the medical office. I think you might want to get that minor concussion looked at. Koji's opponent staggered off with a slightly dazed look on his face. Ouch. Next up, Uzumaki Naruto vs. Uchiha Sasuke. Iruka said in confusion. Naruto spotted Mizuki hide a smirk and scowled. Obviously, the assistant teacher wanted to make Naruto's life difficult by having him beaten in a spar by the elite Uchiha-sama. Well, screw that. Quest created. Rival Showdown. Your spiteful assistant teacher has manipulated things and paired you against Uchiha Sasuke, your rival and the Rookie of the Year, in the Taijutsu sparring session for the nth time. Defeat him. Quest completion reward, plus 1000 EXP, random Taijutsu skill scroll, minus 100 reputation with Uchiha Sasuke. Quest failure, random selection between 250 EXP and random Taijutsu scroll. Accept. Y/N. Discreetly tapping Y, Naruto strode forwards and stood in the middle of the sparring circle. Opposite him, Uchiha Sasuke gazed at him with a contempt look in those black eyes of his as he slouched to the ring. This makes 20 times in a row these two have been matched up. Iruka said icily to Mizuki, I expect that next time, different opponents will be chosen for them. Understood, Mizuki-kun. Mizuki just snorted. Alright you two. Please make the Teretsu no In, seal of confrontation. Iruka sighed. Both Naruto and Sasuke made a half-ram seal with one hand. Kick his ass, Sasuke-kun. Ino cheered. Rather surprisingly, Sakura didn't join in verbally, but she did cheer for her love interest, which made Naruto sigh inside. His luck sucked when it came to this kind of thing. Observe, he whispered. Name, Uchiha Sasuke. Class, Emo Avenger. Level, 13 next level, 0.12%. Title, Academy Student, plus 25% EXP to LV10. Age, 12. HP, 750/750. CP, 675/675. STR, 25. STA, 18. Dex, 21. Int, 23. WIS, 15. Luck, 5. Special status, Unawakened Dojutsu, plus 1 Dex every other level, plus 1 Int every level, Avenger, plus bonus given to all stats when against Uchiha attack. Power of Hatred, bonus to all physical stats given against all targets the user hates, last Uchiha, automatically counts as the Uchiha clan heir even if not of the main family, granting plus 10% damage to all Uchiha jutsu with minus 25% chakra cost. Perks: natural genius, hardworking, determined. Flaws: emo McBroody pants, hatred, Uchiha Itaki, lone wolf, superiority complex, inferiority complex, knowing pain. Uchiha Sasuke is the last living member of the once feared Uchiha clan aside from his brother, Uchiha Itachi, the clan killer, who slaughtered all of his clan aside from Sasuke. Driven by hatred and a thirst for vengeance, there is nothing he will not do in exchange for the power to slay his brother. Yet, deep inside him, there is still the good person he was before the Uchiha massacre. Sasuke was definitely superior to any of his classmates at level 13 no less. Yet, with the most flaws Naruto had seen on one person, he was also the most unbalanced. Unbalanced or not, he's still way over my current skill level. Naruto thought with a frown, I'll have to play this carefully. The team is a bastard, but he's skilled. I know that better than most. Being beaten like an unwanted stepchild for 20 sparring matches in a row will do that to a person. On my signal, Iruka raised one hand before bringing it down. Hajime. Naruto, usually the one to charge, decided to let the Uchiha make the first move this time. Assuming a basic defensive stance, Naruto waited for his opponent to react. Sasuke raised a mental eyebrow at the dobe, acting cautiously for a change before he appraised the blonde boy's stance. It was actually quite good. A bit sloppy in places, but miles better than his previous attempts. So the dobe has actually started making an effort. He thought with a smirk. He might actually get a workout out of this spar for a change. Leaping across the ring, Sasuke shot a high kick out at Naruto's head, which was blocked. Spinning away, the Uchiha followed up with a 4-punch combo. Naruto managed to dodge the first two, but the third hit his cheek, sending him stumbling back. Rallying, Naruto flung out a backhand that Sasuke grabbed and tried to use to throw him. Hooking a foot around his opponent's leg, Naruto quickly pulled, breaking Sasuke's stance, forcing him to let go of his arm and leaving the last Uchiha open to a roundhouse kick that sent him flying. He managed to stop himself from exiting the arena, but a look of slight shock was on his face. Naruto had actually fought back successfully for the first time against him. A smirk flashed over Sasuke's face for a second before he charged back at Naruto with a determined expression on his face. Leaping into the air, the Uchiha executed an axe drop kick on Naruto, who blocked it by crossing his arms. Using that as a springboard, Sasuke leaped over him and drove an elbow into his opponent's back as soon as he landed. Grunting in pain, Naruto lurched forward from the elbow strike. Before he could recover, Sasuke executed a low kick that sent Naruto sprawling on the ground. The match is over. Victor, Uchiha Sasuke. Iruka declared, good effort Naruto. You've been practicing hard, I see. Yup. Naruto grinned as he got up, not enough though, damn it. Quest failed. Rival showdown, you fought valiantly, but Uchiha Sasuke still defeated you. Quest failure compensation, chakra strength enhancement skill scroll. Secret achievement unlocked. Worthy rival, fight well but lose to Uchiha Sasuke during a spar, plus 100 reputation with Uchiha Sasuke. Beginner's Heikage Taijutsu has leveled up. LV6 LV8. HN. Sasuke grunted. Alright you two, make the Wakai no In, seal of reconciliation. The scarred Chunin directed the two students. With the two fingers of their right hands, Naruto and Sasuke shook hands quickly then swiftly let go. Dobe. Team. As Naruto walked back out of the ring to let the next match start, he mused at his Taijutsu jumping up by 2 levels. Was it because Sasuke was so skilled in Taijutsu or because he was about 5 levels higher than he was? Whichever it is, I'll need to ask Jiji about training dummies at some point. Naruto thought as Sakura fought against Katsuragi Ami, the class bully, barely pulling out a win against her. After the academy, Sakura-chan. Naruto called as the kids started leaving the academy. What is it Naruto? Sakura no longer appended the baka to his name anymore, which was a huge improvement to Naruto's perspective. I'm gonna be busy today, so we can't have our study session today, he told her apologetically. He was going to go to Higirishi's so they could tell him if his Tonto and Kodaki could be made from the ingot of chakra metal he had, and he had a feeling it would take a while when combined with completing the quest a broken blade can still cut, so he was taking the day off from attacking books. You better have a good excuse Naruto. Sakura growled. I have to go see a smith about a sword. He replied, and it might take a while. Shouldn't you wait until after you graduate before getting weapons? Sakura asked with one delicate eyebrow raised. It takes weeks, sometimes months, to forge a good blade, Sakura-chan. Naruto told her, I will graduate this time round and I'm gonna be fully equipped when I do. You might wanna give some thought to your own equipment once you've graduated. Noted. Sakura sighed, well, see you tomorrow Naruto. See ya, Sakura-chan. Naruto grinned. That was the first time she'd said something like that to him. Score? Stopping by his apartment to grab the scroll containing the ingot, he had forgotten to put it back in his inventory yesterday. Naruto set out for the weapons shop. On the way, he noted several shinobi looking at him in an odd way. It wasn't malicious or threatening, rather, it was more like they were curious about him. For making an accurate deduction, you gain +1 WIS? Shush. Naruto grumbled. He was really getting tired of his own demability mocking him. Naruto. A familiar voice called out to him. The boy turned to see Iruka jogging towards him and Naruto grinned. Hey there Iruka-sensei? What's up? Hokage-sama told me about what you found in Training Ground 13. The Chunin-sensei replied quietly. He also told me you'd be going to Higashi's to see if it could make the weapons you want. So I decided to come along with you to make sure no one tries to steal it from you. Thanks Iruka-sensei. Naruto was grateful for this. He doubted that anyone other than the Hokage, himself and Iruka-sensei knew about the chakra metal ingot, but better safe than sorry. As they walked along, Iruka congratulated him on doing so well against Suzuki. You've been practicing hard. The scarred man said with a smile. Naruto chuckled and grinned proudly. You know it. Then he frowned. Thing is, I can only do so much just practicing kata. What should I do? You could try sparring with your IWA Bunshin. Iruka pointed out. Facepalming, the blonde boy muttered, why the hell didn't I think of that? To be fair, it isn't something most people think of. Iruka said with a small smile, while more robust than most clone jutsu, IWA Bunshin are still very fragile compared with a flesh and blood opponent, and most Chunin-level shinobi can easily defeat one. For academy students and genin though, it ought to be good practice. Thanks for the tip, Iruka-sensei. Naruto said as they came upon the Higurashi weapons shop. As seemed to be usual for when Naruto turned up, Tenten was sitting behind the counter polishing a weapon, this time a Nodoki. Hey Naruto, Iruka-sensei. Tenten greeted them. What cha need? Did Isaka-san come in 2 days ago? Naruto asked nervously. Yup. The bun-haired girl nodded with a small scowl. She told me everything about how my baby was broken. Ah, Kawashima is in for one hell of a lecture when I see her next. Someone broke one of your weapons, Tenten. Iruka asked, wincing as the steely eyes of the girl locked on him and the kunoichi nodded once. Yeesh. I kind of feel sorry for her. And angry that she broke a masterpiece of a weapon. The last part was added rather quickly as Tenten narrowed her eyes at her former teacher dangerously. Naruto was rather thankful he was on her good side. Anyway, Tenten said, abruptly reverting to her previous good mood, as thanks for helping me out, Ka-san and Oyaji said they're giving you a small discount on anything inside the shop whenever you come here. It isn't much, but I hope it's alright as thanks. Thanks. Naruto replied in shock. He'd never gotten a permanent discount at any shop before. Quest completed. A broken blade can still cut. You have helped defuse and resolve the matter of the destruction of the Tonto Toradora. Quest completion reward, plus 1000 reputation with Higurashi Tenten, 5% discount when shopping at Higurashi Weapons and Ninja Apparels, plus 750 reputation with Higurashi Kani, plus 750 reputation with Higurashi Tatsuhiko, plus 1000 reputation with Higurashi Weapons and Ninja Apparels. Not bad. That puts me just 500 reputation from moving from friendly to well-liked with Tenten. Naruto thought as he drew the ingot scroll out of his pocket. Are your parents around? I have something they might want to see. He told her. Another weapon? Tenten asked curiously. Nope. You'll see soon though. Naruto grinned foxily. Eyeing Naruto suspiciously, Tenten headed off to get her parents. I'm looking forward to how she'll react to this. Naruto whispered to Iruka. You are such a prankster, Naruto. Iruka said with mock sternness, a glint in his eyes showing that he too was looking forward to the weapon-crazy girl's reaction to this. Meh, if you've got it. Naruto shrugged. Ah, Uzumaki-san. Tatsuhiko called as he led the way back into the room. What is it that you need me to see? Naruto gulped as Tatsuhiko loomed over him. Man, he was big. Behind him, Connie rolled her eyes at her husband's antics and smacked the back of his head sharply with one hand. Anita, he's here to show us something, not ask for our daughter's hand in marriage, so stop your shenanigans. Ka-san. Tenten whined in embarrassment, a light dusting of pink appearing on her cheeks. Was there really a need to smack me over the head? The man of the house grumbled. Domestic abuse? This is. A big strong man like you, bullied by a small and delicate thing like me? Surely not. Connie teased, making Naruto and Iruka snicker at the larger man's discomfort. Women? Well, you two clowns can laugh it up all you want, but you'll be on this side of the fence one day. The weaponsmith grumbled, then you'll regret not showing sympathy to me, mark my words. Anyway, what is it you would like to show my wife and me, Uzumaki-san? This. Naruto said as he unrolled the storage scroll and unsealed the ingot of chakra metal, anticipating the reactions of the family of smiths. He wasn't disappointed. Tenten took one look at the medal and almost fainted. Her parents were more restrained, but their eyes bulging out and slightly agape expressions were priceless. Chakra medal. Connie croaked out, how, where? I killed a huge chakra mutated mole and found this in its burrow. Naruto shrugged. It has to be highly purified. Tatsuhiko murmured, touching the ingot with a trembling finger. There's a stamp on the back that says it's 990.90 pure, is that good? Naruto asked. That's just about as pure as you can get with chakra metal. The smith gulped. I take it you wish me to forge a weapon for you. First, can you forge a kodaki and a pair of tanto from that ingot? Naruto inquired. With this much chakra metal, I could make 3 full-sized katana, so yes. Tatsuhiko replied. What will you do with the leftover metal? Connie asked. Well, I doubt that having you make the blades will be cheap, right? Naruto asked. It will cost thousands of ryo. The smith confirmed. It will still be cheaper than it would otherwise be because you are supplying a large amount of the materials. Then you can have the rest of the metal as payment. Naruto said with a shrug. There was a gasp from Tenten at that. Naruto, that's. Are you certain? Tatsuhiko asked. Selling the remaining metal to a merchant would more than pay for your weapons and leave you a comfortable nest egg for emergencies. Thanks to his ability converting defeated enemies into money, Naruto didn't really need a nest egg, but it was best to not let anyone know about that part just yet. It's okay. I have a lot saved up. Naruto drew out Gama-chan, which was literally stuffed full of ryo notes, to the point of looking like a balloon. Besides, better to have it on hand in Konoha than Kami-sama knows where if you need the metal. A point. Tatsuhiko gave a grin. Alright, Uzumaki-san. I shall make your weapons with all of my skill. This I do so swear. Would you prefer the kodaki made first or the tanto? What'll be quicker? Naruto asked. Making a pair of tanto is fairly simple. If you pick the same blade design, I can have them ready for you by next month. The smith replied. Tenten, recovered from her shock, explained, there are different designs of blades for tanto. Here, take a look at this display over here. She pointed at the rack next to the counter, which had 12 different tanto mounted on it, all unsheathed. They all looked very impressive. I don't know. What would you recommend? Naruto asked, feeling a bit out of his depth. As you're just starting out with I'd recommend a pair of Hira blades. Tatsuhiko mused, they're one of the more common designs for tanto. Hira is the one at the top, the plain one. The design was indeed plain, but it looked deadly nonetheless. Sounds good. Naruto decided, I'll leave it with you then. Do you sell practice versions? Sure. Connie said, Ten-chan, go and get 2 of the Hira variant practice blades from the back. Grab a kodaki one as well. Hi, Ka-san. The bun-haired Kunoichi replied as she dashed off to fetch the requested items. That will be 7,500 ryo. Connie said with a professional smile. Fishing out the cash from Gama-chan, Naruto handed the notes over to Connie, who nodded her thanks. Here you go Naruto. Tenten said as she handed over a pair of dull and blunt tanto and an equally blunt kodaki. These simulate the weight and balance of the real thing, so you can use them to get used to wielding them. I made all of them, so they're all of good quality and can take a beating. Just don't break them, K. Not in a million years. Naruto agreed hurriedly as he sealed the practice weapons into the scroll. The last thing he wanted was an experienced genin out for his blood. Speaking of which, aspiring weapons mistress. LV-20 Higurashi Tenten. Master blacksmith. LV-17 Higurashi Tatsuhiko. Assistant blacksmith. LV-15 Higurashi Connie. Tenten was very high level for someone who had only been a genin for a year, so either she had killed some powerful opponents or she had been doing some insane training. Possibly both. Even her parents were, he noted as he and Iruka bid the 3 Higurashis goodbye, above the usual level he had seen for civilians. Iruka-sensei had mentioned that they were retired shinobi, so shouldn't their levels be higher than that? Or did retiring from a profession to take up another reset your levels somehow? Naruto. Iruka asked in concern. The usually rambunctious boy had been quiet ever since they had left the weapon shop. It was slightly unnerving. Oh, sorry. Naruto said as he snapped himself out of his pondering. I was just wondering where I'm going to get a Naito Ryu Tanto style and a Kodaki style. Does the shinobi section of the library have anything like that? Highly likely. I'll have a look for you. The Chunin-sensei promised, which reminds me. I completely forgot to train you in another clone jutsu that I was supposed to. Up for a lesson. Hell yeah. Naruto cheered. Dojo room, Amekage apartments. Now then Naruto, Iruka began in his lecturing voice, the jutsu I am going to show you is highly advanced, well beyond the basic Bunshin no Jutsu and the IWA Bunshin. It is called the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Does it have anything to do with the Nara clan? Naruto asked cautiously. Good guess, but no. Iruka chuckled. Everyone thought the Nara had something to do with the shadow clone jutsu at first. No, the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu was invented by the Nidaime Hokage, Senju Tobirama. It creates a physical copy of the user using only chakra. No elemental medium whatsoever. Naruto frowned. His studies with Sakura-chan had only briefly touched on the theory of chakra control, but he did know one thing. That means the chakra cost is through the roof, isn't it? Iruka nodded. Exactly. The general rule is that creating a shadow clone uses about half of a Jonin-level shinobi's chakra reserves, but that is just a guideline. Nevertheless, the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu is classed as a kinjutsu, so if you learn it, you are not permitted to knowingly teach it to someone with insufficient reserves. Understood. Naruto nodded. Hi, sensei. Good. Now, unlike other clone jutsu, you only use a single hand sign in order to use the shadow clone jutsu, and it is called the clone hand sign. Iruka said. Catching the look on Naruto's face, he added, hey, I didn't name the hand sign. Blame Nidaime-sama for that? Sure. Naruto rolled his eyes. This is the clone hand sign. Iruka continued after glaring at Naruto for a moment. He formed a cross in front of himself using the index and middle fingers of both hands. The shadow clone jutsu doesn't require much in the way of chakra control. In fact, the more chakra you have, the better. Iruka continued, ordinarily, I would advise experimenting to see how much chakra it takes to form a single clone, but given that you have so much chakra, you should just keep trying until you can form any number of clones. Okay. Naruto cracked his knuckles, and then formed the same hand sign as Iruka, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A blast of smoke filled the room, making both of them cough. Once the smoke dissipated, a faint outline of a Naruto clone flickered and vanished. Well that's odd. Iruka remarked and unrolled a scroll. I'd better check the Jutsu scroll. Here we are. In the event that the room fills with smoke upon execution of the technique, attempt to create as many clones as you can rather than 1 or 3, as it is clear that either your chakra control sucks or you are being lazy. Very blunt, Nidaime-sama. Wait, is that? Naruto asked in surprise. A copy of Senju Tobirama's original scrolls regarding the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, copied by the Sandaime Hokage himself. Iruka replied, he copied it out especially for the sake of teaching you this jutsu, so work hard. Yosha? Let's try this again. Naruto declared, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. It took Naruto 4 hours to finally produce a proper shadow clone. Rather, it took him 4 hours to become a one-boy army. When he finally succeeded, 24 clones materialized in an explosion of chakra smoke. Naruto fell to one knee at that point, noting absently in his exhaustion that his CP was down to 0 out of 900. Geez, that was exhausting. Skill created. As a result of specific repeated actions, the skill Kage Bunshin no Jutsu has been created. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Instant, LV1, 00.00. The Nidaime Hokage's Shadow Clone Jutsu is one of his most widely known jutsu and was originally created for scouting dangerous locations. All clones possess the same physical capabilities as the original, are equipped as the original and can also use any jutsu known to the original. The downsides to this technique are twofold. First, it is very chakra intensive, meaning only the more powerful Haichunin and Jonin can make use of this technique. Secondly, it only takes a single solid hit to dispel the clone, making it impractical as a genuine combat technique. Owing to your exceptionally dense chakra as an Uzumaki, the CP cost of each clone is reduced by 75%. Initial cost for each shadow clone, 150 CP. Adjusted cost for each shadow clone, 37.5 CP. I did it. Naruto cheered. I'll say. Iruka muttered in disbelief, 24 shadow clones. Shaking his head, Iruka looked at a rapidly recovering and energetic Naruto with a fond smile. Konoha's #1 show-off, #1 unpredictable noisy ninja. That title definitely fits you, Naruto, he thought before offering to take Naruto out for ramen at Ichiraku's to celebrate. 3 guesses what Naruto's reply was?